What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? I'm about to do this updated video on the Meleah Davis case. And I know I said that I was not going to do another video, but I got to do this video because of the comments and the concern that I am getting regarding a recent video that I posted. Now, I'm sure you guys know the situation behind Meleah Davis, and they did find her body. I recently did a video regarding the biological father, Craig Davis. So I had someone post a comment that wanted to update me on, educate me on CPS and how CPS works. So I'm very familiar with CPS defects. I've actually taken classes in the state of Texas and in Atlanta and other states. So I kind of know how the system works, but I'm going to get to reading her comment in a minute. I know there has been several videos going back and forth on YouTube regarding people that are profiting off of this little girl's death, and I hope that people are not using this girl's death to gain financial benefits. I personally have saw a lot of YouTube channels that are taking donations, that are making t-shirts, that are selling t-shirts. I was recently watching a live video the other night that I got kicked out of, and I'm not even going to mention the person's name. However, I do believe that some people who are going to the extreme or above and beyond for this little girl, it's because it's in their hearts. I don't think that everybody is making t-shirts to make money off of it. I see people that are making t-shirts and that are giving them away, so they're paying for it and they're not getting anything out of it. There's a lot of people that are setting up GoFunds. So I hope that people are just being mindful that, you know, karma is real. So if you do things that are not right, then it's going to come back to get you. You're not going to benefit if what you're doing is for the wrong thing. It's going to turn around and bite you in the ass. So anyway, this video, once again, it's regarding Craig Davis because nobody is talking about the biological father. And when you look at what the media has put out, what the media, Houston News, has put out, this is not something that I am just making up. Craig Davis would have been the last person that could have saved his daughter's life, and those are just the facts. He went to pick up his son. His daughter was there. I'm not 100% sure if he went to pick up both kids, but if he would have picked up both kids, his daughter would still be alive right with the son. And those are just the facts. Now, once again, how does a father of a 4-year-old that has already been previously abused, that is fighting to get full custody, there has not been one news outlet mention that Craig Davis filed any type of court documents to get custody of his children. Not one. A father that is trying to get custody of his daughter, that know his daughter is being abused, why would you leave your daughter in the care of the mother's boyfriend? Now, everybody on YouTube is hammering Brittney Bowens, and they have every right to snap off on Brittney Bowens. Brittney Bowens, out of her own mouth, said that Darian Vance was molesting her daughter, abusing her daughter. And I get why people are dragging her. But in the moment, the day before or the day of Meleah's death, her biological father went to the apartment. Brittney was not there. And this is what he stated. He said he went there. And Darian didn't allow him to pick up his own daughter. Okay. Now this is just my opinion. A caring father that cares about his daughter that was just recently hospitalized. CPS got all involved, which is in the media. Neither Craig Davis or Brittney Boyens could take custody of the kids. And I'm going to get to this comment. I think it's by one of his family members that wanted to school me on CPS and how it works. And I'm sure of how CPS works. The one thing that I do know about the state, they don't want your kids. This is why Meleah ended up back with her mother. They do not want your children. And being a foster parent is a regular everyday person that goes through these classes and foster kids. They're not state, or they're getting paid by the state, but the state is not making any money off a foster child. The person that takes in the foster child is making the money. So I'm going to get to that comment once again. I'm going to get to this comment. However, a loving father, I can't see a loving father whose child hasn't been abused leaving his 4-year-old daughter with a mom's boyfriend. A non-relative, not an uncle. I'm sure they don't have a personal relationship. The mother is gone. You come to the apartment. You pick up the son, but you don't pick up the daughter. You pick up the son, but you don't pick up your daughter. Now, but your daughter has been abused. Your daughter skull is busted. And you leave the daughter that you say you love and you care about in the custody with the mom's boyfriend. You just take your son. A commenter said that he was never there to pick up his daughter. Once again, if you are trying to get full custody of your kids, the mother is in a whole nother state. Why would you leave your daughter with the mama's boyfriend? That don't make sense to me. I don't know a man who would leave a girl out of all kids. I can remember, I was raised by both my parents. I can remember as a child, I didn't sit in a man's lap. I was never allowed to go over to nobody's house. I don't ever remember going to a uncle's, aunt, or anybody's house without my parents. I was never left there. And as I got older, I realized why. So a loving father will go to the apartment, pick up his daughter, leave with just his son because the boyfriend said she don't feel good. She got the flu or she's asleep. And the daddy said, okay. Now this is an abused child. This is a child who you know have been abused. This is a child that CPS is currently watching. CPS is involved in. This is a child whose skull was busted. So you would leave your daughter with the boyfriend, with the mama's boyfriend, and the mama is not at home. Now, to most caring fathers, I have a brother that has 2 daughters. Those girls are never even out of his sight. Even if you're in the next room playing with the little girls, he's going to come over there every 5 minutes and check on them. I don't know any men, especially with their girls. You should be the same with your boys. But most fathers are very protective of their daughters. Yes, Brittney Boyens, everything people are saying should be said. There's no excuse for her, but nobody is speaking on Craig Davis, because at the end of the day, Craig Davis had the opportunity to save his daughter's life. If Craig Davis would have picked up both his children, both of those kids biologically are his kids. If Craig Davis would have went to that house and got his son and his daughter right now would be with him and his son. It wouldn't be no situation that has transpired. And I don't know why people don't see that. Everybody is so busy bashing Brittney Bowens that nobody is taking the time to really analyze the moments before that baby died. She had to be alive. If it was 3 kids at that house, and apparently the footage that they have from that apartment has to be somewhat accurate information. The footage shows Darion's son, Meleah, walking right behind him. Not 3 children. So that meant when Craig Davis went on that door, his son, Meleah, and the 3rd child was at that apartment, unless Craig Davis leave the little boy by himself. Either way it go, we never saw the son walking out of the apartment. So that meant when Craig Davis went to the apartment, Meleah was still alive, because when they left, went to the store, wherever they went, came back before he brought out the basket and the trash bag, Meleah had to be alive when her father went over there to pick up the son. Why didn't you pick up your daughter, Craig Davis? Nobody else may hold you accountable. Everybody can drag Brittney, but that girl had 2 parents. 2 parents is dual responsibility. It is, you are just as responsible as the mother is. And in this situation, you had a chance to save your daughter's life. All you had to do was pick up your kids. Why did you leave your 4-year-old daughter with the man biologically that's not her father? She had already been abused, and it had to be by Brittney or the boyfriend. She was already sick. Why would you leave your 4-year-old daughter with a man that's the mama's boyfriend? Period. If you would have picked up both those kids, Meleah would still be alive, and everybody is missing that. Everybody keeps saying, why did you leave your daughter with Darion and you knew he was abusing her? Which is true. I can't argue with that. But the father went to the apartment, picked up one of his children, and left the other with the man that's not her dad. And I have so many people in my comments saying, why do we keep making him out to be a bad father? Well, I mean, explain to me how he's a good one. If, number one, let's go back through the facts. The mother is in a whole nother state. The biological dad knows Meleah has been abused. Her skull was busted. He don't know if Brittney did it or the boyfriend did it. He's not sure who did it, okay? He goes to pick up his son and daughter, or maybe just his son. He asks about Meleah. Oh, she's asleep. She got the flu. She don't feel good. Okay, bye. But you are the same father that allegedly have filed for full custody, which was never stated, was trying to get your kids, which that was never stated. I heard someone say that there is a gag order on him talking. There's a gag order on the CPS case. Not one news outlet said anything about a gag order being on Craig Davis. He can't talk. Not one news outlet showed any kind of court documents that was filed for the custody of these kids. What judge in Houston put a gag order on Craig Davis to keep him from talking? Now we know about Judge Lopez that gave the child back to the mother, and then we're about to get in how CPS works and why Brittney Davis ended up getting her daughter back. Since the person in my comments told me that that's not how it works, I'm gonna explain to you why she got the child back. But what judge signed a gag order that said Craig Davis couldn't talk? What judge signed a gag order that said even if they couldn't release what was in the custody documents, you still should be able to find that he filed custody for his kids? And another thing, another point, when the baby got hurt, Craig Davis could not get her because he was listed as an abuser as well, not just Brittney. So everybody is attacking Brittney, which rightfully so. But what about Craig Davis? What about the biological father, the last parent that could have picked up his daughter? The last parents that could have picked up his child. What about Craig Davis? So let me get to this comment that was left for me, saying that people need to get educated on how CPS work. I am going to read the comment, and then I'm going to explain how CPS works, since this person was educating me on how CPS works, and at the end of the day, she don't even know what she's talking about. So let me go to this comment. Don't nobody want to hear what you. And this is just the part about Craig Davis and why he didn't get his daughter. There's so many other things that are going on YouTube regarding stolen money and all of this. But once again, if people are using the death of a baby girl to profit, that's not good. You're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for what you do wrong, so you're not gonna profit off of her. But let me get to the comment that was left, and I am going to. Oh, guys, I have got to find this comment. Let me go in my email. I have got to read this comment to you guys. Okay. Okay, so the comment is from a person named Shayna Rankin. The thing that makes me so upset is how ignorant people are when it comes to CPS. What people do not know is CPS works off a quota. A CPS caseworker has to remove a certain number of kids from a household every single month. CPS goals is to place children in foster care, opposed to a family member, because they receive more funds for placing a child in a foster home than they do with family. A foster home is not a home that is governed by the state. A foster home is a regular everyday person that are taking in foster children, because I went to the classes. Now, they may have private agencies that take in foster kids, but for the most part, it is regular everyday people, and all states right now are in need for more foster parents. Anytime you have a quota to meet, like with this CPS, there is going to be corruption, agendas flying every which way. Prime example of this Craig Davis being named in the CPS report, even though we know for a fact Craig was nowhere around when sweet baby girl got injured. But that don't mean that that is the only CPS case filed against either, and it doesn't mean that him not being able to get his daughter, that it doesn't mean that he actually abused Meleah. He could have abused any other child. Once you abuse one child, that's it. It doesn't matter if he was a part of the Meleah case. It's obvious CPS has something on him. This is why he can't get his daughter. He couldn't get his daughter. Okay, so Craig was nowhere around when sweet baby girl was injured. They do this to make it complicated for the child to easily be placed with the other parent, unfortunately. Another thing people don't know, once CPS gains guardianship over a child, in order for CPS to gain guardianship, that means they couldn't find no relative to get that child. Okay? Any and all family members who reach out to them, because see, they should have been able to reach out to you when you got the child when she got injured. Because the entire time Meleah was in the hospital, CPS was working, the caseworker was working to find somebody for her to go home with before she even left that hospital. I am 100% sure of that. So once CPS gained guardianship over a child, any and all family members who reach out to receive placement of the child with themselves is going to be put under a microscope. Microscope meaning, I don't care if you just have a ticket, not an arrest, a lie, for even just drug paraphernalia, not actual drugs. CPS is not going to place that child with you. If you got a misdemeanor, you better have tickets, because even a traffic ticket is a misdemeanor. That can't stop you from getting a child. If you have certain things on your record, yes, it can. But minor things, no, ma'am. So you mean to tell me that all of Craig Davis's entire family either got a felony of some sort on their record? Okay. I don't care. I don't care if you're the biological mother or father. It ain't happening, period. If you have any kind of record, could have been 20 years ago, not involving children. Yeah, if you got a felony, no, you will not get the child. You might as well keep it moving. So basically, you saying everybody in Craig Davis's family is a convicted felon, because that is the only way you will not get that child. CPS is so beyond corrupt, it's scary. But what really pisses me off is how they mess with families whom they shouldn't, yet fail in such cases. Now, in this situation, CPS should have been involved. A 4-year-old child head was busted. So yeah, CPS should have been involved in this case. I say all this to say it's unfair for everyone to keep saying Craig isn't any type of father or his family. You don't know this man or his family. You don't know how many family members attempt to get temporary custody of these babies. I'm only judging. She's telling me I'm only judging based on ignorance. Needs to stop, and since you reference it, let's start there. Everybody has an opinion, but who really knows the facts? She'll wait. What I do know is, for one, CPS do not want your kids. CPS defects, none of them. Foster homes or privately held group homes collect the money. It don't go to the state. It goes to the foster family that has agreed to take these classes to be able to take that child in. The state does not want your children. And the reason they gave Brittney Bowen's Meleah back was because she did everything that they required her to do. Go to those classes, stay off drugs, whatever it was that they required her to do to get Meleah back in that home is what she did. So that's how I know they don't want your kids. For one, between 0 and 2, maybe, yeah. If a parent loses their rights to their child, those babies can be adopted. But children who are over a certain age, especially in the minority community, those kids are not easily adopted. I learned that taking the class. Like, nobody wants to adopt minority children. Babies, if somebody loses custody, those kids will probably eventually go to an adoption home. Foster kids go to foster families. People that go through the process of going through classes to become a foster parent. The state does not have a quota to remove kids. I have family members who are caseworkers. Now, if you get a shitty caseworker and you talk in any kind of way, yeah, they can mess up your case. It's an individual thing. But the most caseworkers are trying to reunite that child back with the family. That's why Meleah was able to go back home with Brittney Bowens. But I would have to totally disagree with you. Everybody in Darion Vince, and I'm not really even sure when it comes to the biological, well, no, he had an abuse charge on. He had some kind of way, CPS had an abuse case on him. So it wasn't even about his record. So you mean to tell me everybody in Craig Davis's family is a convicted felon? You can become a foster parent if you got traffic citations. They will not place a child with you because you have misdemeanors, minor tickets. If you're a convicted felon, that's a whole nother ball game. So and I can look up the requirements for the state of Texas while I'm doing this video. Since CPS reaches a quota to remove kids, those caseworkers are overloaded. This is why the system fails so many kids. Because each caseworker is assigned so many cases that they can't keep up with them all. So what they do is they rush those cases and hurry up and place those kids back with their biological parents. So no, the state don't want your kids. The state cannot make any money off those kids. The only people that can make money is the foster parent. And I think the group homes get exactly what the foster parents get, and they may be getting a little more, but most of those are private industries. Most group homes are owned by a private industry. They're not government owned group homes or foster homes where foster kids come. Not the juvenile detention centers. I'm not speaking of those. So for you to say that nobody could get Meleah is because everybody in this man's family had to be a convicted felon, which is really sad that this child ended up dying because his entire family is felons. Because that's the only way that CPS, or they had their own child abuse cases. Now, I can look up in the state of Texas and it will tell me exactly the requirements to get a child out of CPS. And I responded to her comment, and I asked if this man was trying to get custody of his daughter. Why would he leave his daughter with the mama's boyfriend? Okay, CPS takes children during an investigation only if there is no other way to protect the children from harm. Thus, the CPS does not take children unless there appears to be immediate danger to the child's physical health or safety, or unless a court order directs CPS to remove the child from the parents. Okay. How do you get your child back? Request that your child be placed in the care of relatives, which Craig Davis could have. Does CPS cases show up on background checks? No, it doesn't. So let's see if you can have a felony to get the child. So CPS trying to make a quota and get money off kids, it's so untrue. They do not want your kids. That's why kids end up back with the biological parent, and situations like this end up occurring because the state don't want to keep your child. So in the state, let's look up the state of Texas. It's a reason they have him in CPS, that he has a CPS case. Okay, so these would be the reasons you cannot. Felony convictions. You are not allowed, you're not going to do it. If you have a felony conviction for, it's certain things. Child abuse, neglect, a crime against children, or pornography. So if you have a felony theft charge, that's not going to stop you from getting a child. You have to be convicted of some kind of child situation. So even if he had a drug charge, that wouldn't have stopped him from getting temporary custody of Meleah. So this is what I don't understand. How could Craig Davis not get temporary custody of Meleah, but he went to the court to file for full custody? That don't make sense. He couldn't get her from CPS, but he gonna go to the court to file for full custody of the child? Do that make sense to anybody else? You can't get temporary custody, but you gonna file for full custody, and you have abuse charges against you. And allegedly, you filed for full custody of her, allegedly. You filed for full custody of her. But you left the same child you was concerned about. You left the same child you was concerned about safety. You were concerned about well-being. You knew had been abused with the mama's boyfriend. And somebody have the audacity and the nerve to say, we don't know you. You're right. I don't know you personally. But at the end of the day, it don't make sense for the biological father, who allegedly has child abuse charges already filed on him. It doesn't have to be that same case. So there can be another case against him. This same father went to the apartment, knocked on the door, got his son, but left his daughter. Craig Davis, this is my opinion. I believe that you are not out, you're not speaking, you were at the walk, and when they talked to you, you were smiling the entire time. You're not speaking, you're not saying anything, you have other people talking for you. None of your family could have gotten Meleah from CPS when the accident occurred, because the entire time the baby was in the hospital, CPS was trying to find a family member for the child to go home to. They were looking for somebody that would take care of that baby. So you not being able to get her, and nobody else in your family, because they either have a child abuse case of their own, some kind of pornography felony, anything to do with children, because according to what I just Googled, it depends on the felony. So if somebody was selling drugs, that wouldn't stop them. So at the end of the day, I do not personally get how a biological father that was concerned about getting his daughter, that filed for full custody, that is stating that, you're too broken to be in the news, so you're basically staying out of it. This is my personal opinion. This is what I feel. I feel that you don't want to be dragged. You want Brittney to catch all that heat when she should, when at the end of the day, you wasn't no better than she was. Because if you was really concerned about your daughter being abused, you wouldn't have never, when you went to that house, you would have got both your kids. You wouldn't have never left a 4-year-old daughter with a mama's boyfriend, especially one that was already hurt. You wouldn't have never left her with the father, with the boyfriend. So I believe, this is just my opinion, that at the end of the day, you had whatever kind of relationship you had with your kids. When you went to pick the kids up, and Darian told you she was asleep, she was sick, you were just like, all right, man, I'll holler at you later. It wasn't no big deal to you. The same child that was abused. You're not coming out saying anything because you don't want people to drag you, because I believe deep down inside, you feel bad. You should. Because you failed your daughter just as much as Brittney did. It wasn't just Brittney. In that moment, when she was in a whole nother state, you had the opportunity to pick up your daughter. And you chose not to, and that's going to eat at you for the rest of your life. You went to pick up both your kids, or you went to pick up one. I don't see how you went to pick up one to spend time with, but you didn't want to pick up the one who has suffered the most. You didn't even want to be bothered with the one who just had a severe situation happen to her. So I'm really confused. So So for all of you guys that's saying that Craig Davis filed for full custody of his kids, he did not have CPS lied, and the person that sent me that, CPS don't go by no quota, girl. Those caseworkers don't want to be bothered. Them people want to go home. The caseworkers are so responsible for so many things. I have family members that have to get up in the middle of the night to go remove a child. Sometimes they have to drive to a whole nother state to find placement for the child. They're responsible for all that. Not the state, not the management, not none of that. The caseworker. So no. They prefer to leave that child in that house if they can. They're not trying to pick up your child. I'm sorry, guys. That's my AC has a defect in my car. So, at the end of the day, no. You guys, nobody in Craig Davis' side of the family could get Meleah. Craig Davis knew, can you produce court documents showing there's a gag order on his mouth where he can't talk? Can you produce filed court documents that shows he was trying to get full custody of his daughter? And can you answer why he picked up his son and left his daughter? Because if he would have picked up his daughter would be alive right to this day. If Craig Davis would have picked up his daughter would be alive right to this day. Yes, the internet, YouTube, worldwide got the right to drag Brittney Bowens, but why ain't nobody holding Craig Davis accountable? Because the moments before that baby passed away, before she was murdered, Craig Davis had the right to pick up his daughter, and he didn't. He left his daughter with a man, the mama's boyfriend. He left her with the mama's boyfriend. He left his daughter with the mama's boyfriend. Period. Point blank. So, Craig Davis, I'm trying to figure out, what do you have to say? Why did you leave your daughter? Everybody asking Brittney, why did you leave your daughter with that man, Craig Davis? Why you leave her there? You went and got the son? Ain't nobody holding you accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable. Why did you leave her there? A man at that. I personally don't see a man leaving a child they care about. And no, ma'am, whatever your name was, no, ma'am, CPS does not work on a quota. CPS is not trying to keep kids. Foster parents are individuals that go take these classes to get foster children, and they get a check. The state does not want your kids. That's why Meleah ended back up. They give you so many chances before your child stay in foster care and you lose your parental rights. The only children that I can see them trying to mess up cases for some kids that they can make some money off of, and it's not a minority child. Unless the child is a baby. A baby that they can groom and don't know who their parents are. But I went to the classes. Children that are of a certain age and a certain race, nobody wants them. That's why so many kids in the foster care system, and that's why so many kids, this is why it's such a need for foster parents. I mean, it's such a big need for foster parents everywhere. People are begging you to become a foster parent. So at the end of the day, no, they don't have no quota. You need to educate yourself on how defects and CPS works, because you clueless, you lost. Somebody done told you wrong. You need to educate yourself, because they do not want your kids, especially not no minority kid. And the first point of contact is a family member. Before they send them to anybody, the only reason the child would go to a foster home where they don't know the person is because they don't have a relative that can take the child. Nobody wants to take the child. Or everybody that can has something on their record where they can't get the child. So for you to say that they work off a quota and I need to educate myself, no, you need to educate yourself. Because I've been to the classes. I know what it takes to be a foster parent. I have relatives that work as a caseworker. And if Craig Davis didn't have abuse charges, which those charges don't have to be from that case, it can be from something completely different. But anyway, guys, I've been on here like 45 minutes. I know there's so much going on, but I did want to address that. And once again, I am holding Craig Davis accountable. If not for nothing else, for the simple fact that he went to that apartment, he picked up his son, and he left his daughter with the mama's boyfriend. I'll wait for an explanation on that. I will wait for a valid reason. A father that know his daughter has been abused would leave her with a man that's not a father. Thank you guys who have subscribed to my channel, who like my content. Once again, oh, there's been all this about so many people dragging people for not having, you know, the whole studio equipment, lights, camera, action when doing YouTube videos. People are putting out this shitty content. People are putting out ugly videos. At the end of the day, I'm using my phone. And until I build my channel, I am going to continue to use my phone. I refuse to have $5,000 worth of equipment and 500 subscribers. Period. And if you like the content, if you want to have discussions about other things, if there's any cases you want me to review and have an open dialogue about, please put it in the comments. I have no problems. This is an open channel for the subscribers. Anything that you want to see, if I can make it happen, I will. So for all those who want to start a channel, don't let people on YouTube pressure you to look a certain way, to have certain things, because there's a lot of people with these $1 million cameras or whatever the case may be, but they're in the backdrop hiding because they don't want you to see their face, they don't want you to see their body. Y'all gonna see all of me from head to toe, feet, whatever the case may be. I'm coming to you real. My videos will be based off what's already out there, and I am just going to add my own commentary. I'm just going to add my own opinion, and as I grow, my videos, I'm sure, will get better. My channel will get better, but right now, I'm going to work with what I got, and I appreciate those who have subscribed to me, and I would like for you guys to like, share, comment, and let somebody else know about my channel. Once again, this is an open dialogue, so I thank you guys for watching the Jezebel Show. Y'all have a good night.